Hello, colleagues. So I just want to give you some suggestions how you can decide what sort of literacy or phonics lesson that you can give to your students. I try to start with what is my curriculum unit about? What is the vocabulary we're going to be doing? In SharePoint, I have a document that has the units listed individually with some typical vocabulary words for that unit and what the phonics lesson you could use that goes with that word. So for example, we're doing the health unit and maybe you're going to be talking about parts of the body. So if you're talking, you've got knee, you could talk about silent letters like the K. You could talk about the double E, making the long E sound. And you have that in teeth as well. You could also, with the word teeth, talk about the difference between the t and the th that's in that word. This is often a difficult sound for our students to make. Feet also has that double E with the long E sound. You could come up with a lot of them. You could also talk about foot and tooth and the two different sounds, pronunciations for double O. O in foot and oo in tooth. And you could include other words like school and food and things like that. Wrist has a silent W, and you could add the words right, like to write your name, or this is wrong, both with the WR, that the W is silent. Throat has a vowel team, OA, that makes the long O sound. You could talk about long O and the different ways to spell long O. There are several. And again, we've got the TH versus the T in the beginning and the end. Here's a silent B in the word thumb and also the TH. Seems like there's a lot of TH in the words for the body. So that's, I think, a very easy lesson to jump into if any of your students are having difficulty with that sound. Then we have some words that are not very phonetic, and they're just sight words. You have to memorize them. And so I don't know what a good trick is for that. If you figure that out, let me know. Then we have the CH has three different pronunciations, usually ch if the word originates in Old English or Germanic, but k if it comes from the Latin or Greek, and sh if it comes from the French. So here we have stomach, and most biology and science and medical words come from Latin and Greek. And so anytime you see that, medical words or physical words or physical science words, you're going to see the CH makes the K sound. That's a very good lesson for this unit. Ankle gives you a nasal A. It's sometimes grouped with short A, but I don't think it's short A at all. Short A is A for apple, and this is A for ankle or man or family or something like that. So nasal A could be a lesson. Also, we have a lot of syllables that have this pattern, consonant LE, like here's the KLE, or we have GLE in Google, we have ZLE in puzzle, and you can think of a million, I'm sure. Also, ache. You could talk about the CH making the K sound, just like in stomach. And you can talk about the long A. Why is this a long A? From the silent E. This is kind of like a single consonant, even though it's two. Rash has the SH. That's also an interesting phoneme that they might need to practice. Cough has OU. That sounds like awe. There's two other ways to spell awe. You could talk about three ways to spell awe. OU in cough, AU in August or daughter, and AW in law. Whenever a vowel is followed by an R, we call it an R-controlled vowel. So this is an R-controlled O, which means it's not going to make the usual O sound of ah in October or O long O, it's going to be an R-controlled O. And so R controlled O actually has two pronunciations, or like in soar and fork and horse, but also like in color, doctor, and Deborah with an OR. So you could talk about just the OR in soar. You could talk about the UR, the R controlled U in hurt and hurts, and the R-controlled U in nurse. Pharmacy and pharmacist have the PH, which is the Greek spelling for the sound RF. It also has an R-controlled A, which is pronounced R, like car. And it also has the IST suffix that shows that this has to do with a person who does this job. You could talk about the suffixes that show a job, like in teacher, ER in teacher, OR, in doctor, IST in pharmacist and receptionist, and ESS in hostess. In other words, like that. So that could be fun. Also, there's a Y here at the end of pharmacy. It's pronounced like a long E. And so the letter Y, you could talk about the four sounds of the letter Y. One consonant sound, three vowel sounds, or you could talk about just the vowel sounds or just this one vowel sound. It sounds like a long E when it's at the end of a multisyllabic word. Physical and physician have the PH, which sounds like F. It also has the Y in the middle. That's a different vowel sound for the Y. When it comes in the middle position, it sounds like short I. Physical. Physician. Here's another double E, which makes the long E. You could do that when you have teeth and feet and talk about the long E spelled with two E's. Then we have vision and visual, which are Latin roots. And you could talk about the fact that they have to do with sight. And you could do some other Latin roots connected to medical terms, including aud, which means to hear, audio or sound, auditory, and, oh, no, I forgot the name of the doctor. Audiologist, that's it. Okay, then we've got a couple. This is kind of a sight word, but an important one. It also has the WH, and you could talk about two pronunciations for WH. That it's actually officially as if you reverse them and you hear this breathy H and then the W. Where are you? But most people just pretend the H is silent and pronounce the W, where. Same thing with the what. And we have some more Latin. We have the prefix pre, for, and we have the root script or scrib for writing. And so to write for someone, a prescription. Greek forms, if someone, you're using a thermometer to check someone's temperature, they have a fever. These therm and meter are both Greek forms, and they're not a word on their own typically. Typically, you have to have two Greek forms to put together into a compound word to make a real word. But there are some words that we've clipped, like telephone, and now we use phone as a word in its own right. Also photograph, and I guess meter. Okay, so those are some ideas about vocabulary words from the health unit that you could use as a springboard for a literacy lesson, a lesson about how to spell certain sounds and what sounds different spellings make. And that will also assist them in their oral production as well. All right, I hope that that was helpful. I'll see you soon.